Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Good day. Good day. I'm so excited to be here today. I'm excited and delighted to be with you yet again for La Profesora's Word of the Week. La Profesora's Word of the Week. And I'm so glad you thought it not robbery and you are listening here with me today. This week's word is so special. It comes forward and is submitted by a good old soul who is quite special to me. I was so pleased that I got like a few recommendations on last week, but I could not neglect this one as it was my very first recommendation from somebody that was really near and dear, or is really near and dear to my heart. Somebody who actually spent a lot of time with his feet in my ribs. Yeah, you know it. And then he came into the world and grabbed my heart and has been making me run back and forth with laughter and exasperation. I'd like to welcome to the studio my boy, FBCOTR Youth Praise and Worship Leader, my Roy Busy Boy, my baby boy, Royan Benjamin Garcia. Come on over and say hi to the people, Royan.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Royan is the one who put forth a word. And so I like to, just take this time also to shout out my FBCOTR family who stay rocking with me. We out here in the Holy Revolution trying to shake it up one word at a time. So Royan came to me and he said to me, Mama, what does fastidious mean? And Lord, did I look around. First of all, I have almost no friends who use that word regularly. None. So it made my heart jump with joy just to hear my child say it. Come on, fastidious. 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 And we get ready to drop it like it's hot coals and pick it up like it's new money. Fastidious. I just want y'all to know Hamilton is taking me all the way up. I'm going to try not to rap today, but I can't promise anything. Hamilton was himself fastidious. So much good about that word, but at the same time, just like all of these other words we've been discussing, applied incorrectly, it can result in the mill of a hiss. Fastidious has a number of differing definitions. As I most often apply it in lay terms, to be fastidious, which is an adjective, is to be someone who pays careful attention to detail. That is the contemporary meaning for that word. And this attention to detail can be applied in many different scenarios. If, for example, you pay a lot of attention to your clothes, you could be considered a fastidious dresser. That means that you are meticulous about what you wear and everything has to be just so. You know people like that. If you are a fastidious worker, you are focused on carefully carrying out each aspect of your job to like the highest standards so you can see it at first blush, to be on top. Fastidious is often a desired trait as we think about it today. However, there are some negative connotations attached to the word fastidious. It can actually be used to describe someone who is often scornful and disparaging of others, perhaps because they are not meeting the exacting standards of he or she who is the fastidious one. The negatively fastidious person may also be considered such because he or she is difficult to please. This person may have expectations related to class level, or the class level that maybe they want to achieve. And you've seen people like that. They're not there, but they are trying to act in a way that is not them, and that really betrays who they are and where they come from. They may only talk to like certain people, maybe people that they deem to be like them, may hold tight to lofty ideas and are scornful of those who do not fit into their own little fastidious box. They may only talk to a few people, their personal control group. You ever been with somebody like that where you just felt like you were just part of their control group, and you don't know how you got in that number, but somehow you are in that number? They may be seen as bouginess on steroids. Bouginess on steroids. I mean, I guess it might be okay just be like a little bougie, because maybe sometimes somebody I know might be a tad bougie. But even further, the negatively fastidious are often overly concerned with others who are not as fastidious about that which they are fastidious about. I know that preposition is hanging, but we're just going to leave it there. Fastidious. Fastidious. The fastidious are even people who may want to have complex dietary demands. Okay. And nobody like that around here. May adhere to stringent diets in order to meet and maintain themselves in the ways that they want to be maintained. They are often considered the people who are wound tight. They leave no stone unturned, no tree unwatered, no problem unaddressed. They arrive early and stay late, which in my often non-fastidious state causes myself to ask the question, what do the fastidious do when the control doesn't belong to you? Well, you is them, but you know, I sacrifice anything for the rhyme, but I digress. Fastidious. So what I immediately want to do is dissect this word in regards to its etymology and origins, as well as its parts, and then kind of apply it to life, because you know that's my thing. Okay, applying the word to life. This is a revolution, one word at a time. Interestingly enough, the earliest origins of the word usage had a negative connotation, and so when I think about like words that have both positive and negative connotations, I often think about the positive connotation being first. Like last week we discussed pontificate and what pontificate came to mean, but this is a little bit different. Fastidious was negative first. Okay. Now, normally when I consider that, I generally think of it in terms as, you know, starting out positively and then suffering damage that changes the perceptions of the people that are around. But this is not the case with fastidious. And so I went to Etymology Online Dictionary, because I don't just walk around with all this stuff in my head. I do a little bit of research. I know a lot, but you know, there are people that know more, right? Fastidious. So according to Etymology Online, fastidious, the etymology of fastidious, that means where it started, how it got its roots. The mid-15th century. In the mid-15th century, people started calling folks fastidious. And it meant disdainful. It comes from the Latin fastidiosus. Fastidiosus. It means disdainful, squeamish, exacting, meaning things have to be done just so. From fastidium, loathing, squeamishness, dislike, aversion, excessive nicety, which is of uncertain origin, perhaps from fastutidium, a compound of fastus, which means contempt, arrogance, pride, and tedium, which means aversion or disgust. Fastus is possibly from pi. It means projection, bristle point on the notion of prickliness. Okay, so there are a lot of very negative words, squeamish And we mentioned that as well. Lord have mercy. So I was just sitting here thinking, I'm a whole English teacher, thinking that fastidious had its roots in positivity, but not so. Negative words litter this etymology, full of pride and haughty and squeamish and disdainful and over nice. Like, that just means nice, nasty. My Lord. However, a revelation descended upon me. Thank you, Spirit. It reminds me to think about our nature as humans. And I'm led to think of a point in time before the coming of negative fastidiousness. Words, you see, are always born of a necessity to name a particular phenomena. But what brings about the coining is often left out of the equation. So yeah, there's a necessity for coining a word, but why is that so? I think about, however, how often we are born and quickly begin in our earliest days to think about what we want. Our dreams, our hopes, our ambitions. And as we are encouraged, we work toward them. And I think about my own son, my Royan, who every day, without fail, is exacting in his practice of music. He is dedicated to the tuba. He is phenomenally dedicated to his singing and his research on marching bands and his practice of his music. He is dedicated. It floods him. He is the exemplification of joy and resolve and persistence in regards to wanting to perfectly produce music. Some mamas now, that tuba get to going in the house. Some mamas will say, boy, you got to go somewhere with that noise. I get it. A tuba blast in the middle of my Zoom meeting or as I try to grade or advise is not ideal. Yet, I'm reminded of how life can turn on a dime. And how if our work and dreams are not honored, or if what we are passionate about or we've worked hard for, or what we have passionately pursued is rejected by others, if it is shut out or deemed unimportant, if our creativity is deemed minor or an accessory, or our business acumen is considered some pie in the sky notion, if our servant mindedness or technological abilities are marginalized and what we are working for becomes the object of derision by the people around us, then yea, God, we begin to down, despise, and reject what we work so hard for. We find ourselves turning inward, still exacting, but now that energy turns into persistent and exacting disdain, sourness, isolation, a negative change in disposition, squeamishness, being around people, not wanting to be around people, trying to control people and things that are not for you or not relevant to you. Lord have mercy. It seems to me that this negative perception of attention to detail and exacting of the good and lovely dreams people have, the dreams regarding the use of their gifts and service, is what birthed the original negative etymology of the word fastidious. The world works intentionally or unintentionally to break the human mind and spirit. God said it would be so, and then creates a name for it. Fastidious in the negative is simply a passion that got redirected into bitterness and misery, duly destroyed by the world and given up by the holder of the dream. However, on today, I want to reject that original negative etymology. I want you today to embrace the newer positive fastidious. That is the fastidious that brings forth what you are put on this earth to do. That fastidiousness that allows you to focus not just on yourself, but become exacting about the well-being of families, of our beloveds, our neighbors, our communities, even when our faces and our skin and our dream paths differ. This new fastidiousness, the contemporary definition, unmired from the etymological origins, that word created from a necessity based on the exacting, disdainful, distorted actions of those whose dreams have been denied. As we close in thinking on fastidious, I want to rest on the first part of the word fast. Hashtag word parts matter. The origin of fast means firmly fixed, steadfast, firmly. Okay, it also says strongly, vigorously, and close and immediate. Just surviving the archaic fast by, saying hence or closely, immediately, quickly, fast, hold, keep it close. Eventually, in regards to fast, the idea of the rapid movement came about and was reflected in its adjective use. And, it's used like I used to run fast, not anymore. So I'm not focusing on that part of the definition. Okay. You do it if you're a runner. I want you to be fastidious about that. Hold fast, family. Hold firm. Hold fast. Hold fast even when time seems tedious. Hold fast in tediousness. When the way seems long, like you might not make it. People talking all about you, talking all around you. Fast, tedious. Fast, tedious. You see how I did that? Fast, fastidious. Your attention to detail, your dedication to the presentation of your gifts for use in the kingdom. Fastidious. They used to talk about you. Now they all up on you. At the end of the day, it's good to be fastidious about what matters. Caring about people. Fastidious about your neighbor's well-being. Be fastidious about watching the words that come out of your mouth and ensuring that you don't rip people's feelings and esteem apart with your tongue. Be fastidious about engaging in activities to illuminate and not alienate or annihilate. Hold fast in your fastidiousness to separate yourselves from those who speak death, those who negatively tear down others, curse others, call them out of their names, discriminate against folks, believe it's okay to count some lives as being more expendable than others. Please be fastidious about your hygiene, but don't in your fastidiousness grind others like dirt into the ground. Those who don't look like you, dress like you, talk like you, believe like you. Be fastidious about your dreams and your goals and work towards their manifestation in your life so we can lift this whole world up out of this mess. Fastidiously gaze and pray for those things that will make and change this old world. I can't avoid thinking of Jesus when I think about this word. I think of Jesus hanging between two thieves. He could have clung fastidiously to his divinity, but indeed he did not. My fastidious Jesus indeed hung in full humanity for my sin, for your sin. He was human and divine, and he was the only one that could do it. Fastidious Jesus had his eye on every one of my shivers and quivers. He was a fastidious observer of human nature, he had to be. For you and for me. Fastidious. Philippians 4:8 reads, "Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there, I think King James said, be any virtue." My version said, if there be any excellence, if there be any praise, dwell, think on these things. Fastidious. Be fastidious about carrying the good report. Keep your mind fastened on that which will turn the world in the right direction. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of my favorite poet, Mr. Langston Hughes. Dreams. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. Hold fast, even in the tedious. Fastidious. 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 It is a word that I love. Hold on to it. Hold fast, lest you find yourself in that sunken place. Thank you, baby boy. Thank you, my son. Y'all grab this word and use it to change the world. Shake it out, honey, and let the Lord bless you.